So that's the thing, you need to think when you do this very carefully. And I get into a lot of confrontation with leaders, actually. The last one was with the Speaker of the House in Indonesia on Ocean's Day, June 8th, not this year, the year before. We had something at the British House of Lords. They invited 4 scientists to come and give lectures about ocean and sustainability. And G20 reps were there, and Indonesia was there in the big numbers. The speaker was there with many of the parliamentarians. So I started talking about subsidies, and he really went after me like crazy. No, I want to give out subsidies. And me and him, about 3, 4, 5 minutes, back and forth like this. It was quite something. He said, we're doing it to reduce poverty, and I told him, if you want the foot soldier to fight poverty, come and recruit me. But I know now why you're doing this, not helping, it's not going to help them. You undermine the resource base on which they depend on. So how can you be helping? Maybe this year they're happy that you get the consequence. It was such a big target of war, and at the end of the it is that I invited to come and talk at the House of Reps. You know. So I faced his members, right? That was fun. So policies you put in place do have consequences, and you have to think about the ecological and the social economic consequences. This is just to give you more numbers on where the subsidies are continentally. You can find the paper if you want to. It's in the Journal of Bioeconomics. So that's one thing. Let's move on. Another thing you need to do to achieve sustainability, the science of sustainability should be problem-driven. You know, you can be a scientist and just does things for fun, which is okay. What do we call them? The fundamental scientists, how do we call them? Not the applied scientists.
Theoretical.
Basic research.
Basic research. They can just do what they like, play with stars, and that's all fine. But if you are in our business, you better let your science be problem-driven, with the goal of creating and applying knowledge in support of decision-making for a sustainable world. And one example here is illegal fishing, for example. I got into illegal fishing because it was identified as a big problem in terms of us managing our resources sustainably. So what we do is a problem-driven research. We got into it and did some work, actually for the OECD. The OECD was organized a workshop to look at it. So we went in and we looked at the economics of illegal fishing, where it is taking place, why it is taking place, and things of the sort. So I just showed you a few things here. So you all know the name that the book all this is IUU fishing, right? IUU fishing. How many of you didn't know this before today? IUU fishing, yeah. It's a technology that was put across by the FAO, the Food and Agricultural Organization of the UN. They call it IUU fishing because they are thinking about the effect of this on managing the fisheries. But if you look at it legally, it's quite controversial, and I'll explain why. The I stands for illegal fishing. So legally, you know, something is illegal. You know what to do with that. You arrest people, you take them to court, and you do that. The second one is unreported fishing. This is actually not illegal fishing, let's say, right? You can hide your catch, and that will be illegal. But if you go to many developing countries, they don't report because there's no system to take the report. You catch your fish, you take it home, it's not official to report to, so this is not a criminal activity. But in terms of management, that catch is not in the official stats, and therefore we miss it in all our analysis. You see why they combine them? So in terms of management and science, they are the same, but legally they're different. Unregulated fishing is when you fish in an area where there are no rules, right? It's also not illegal. Like the high seas. If there is no RFMO, Regional Fisheries Management Organization, you go out and you fish. It's not illegal. But again, it's unregulated and we don't know about the catch. So that's why is IUU fishing big on the International Fisheries Management agenda? This is because it has ecological, economic, and social consequences. Ecologically, we just don't have the full picture to manage the resource. Economic is actually like stealing fish from those who are legally entitled to it, for example. So there's a problem. and they also sell it to the same market because they don't follow the rules. They can catch it cheaper, right? Everything being equal. So they can undersell you and have social consequences. So there are good reasons why we don't like this. So this is a picture we put together of where illegal, this is only the illegal part. And what we did was to collect data on all reported illegal, apprehended illegal fishes, right? Throughout, for a range of years, from 1980 to 2003. We did a lot of internet and whatnot just to collect whatever data we can find. And that's what we put together. The larger the sector, the higher the number of apprehensions, as the key says. And if you look around here, and I tried this before, I said, you see that it's happening everywhere, almost everywhere. One time I did that, there was somebody from New Zealand, and she said, oh, Rashid, it's not in New Zealand. New Zealand is hiding in the corner there. I considered the whole passion, I said, yeah, you're right. But note, it may be because we didn't have the data. It may not put no data. So it's happening everywhere. And if you look around Somalia, right, it's a big bubbles there. So in that period, there was a lot of illegal fishing taking place. And now here, Antarctica and Australia really put a big effort. And now it's driven down the road. So it's happening in a lot of places.
What would you define fishing? Fishing is hunt for the fish or other animals together?
Ah, okay, good question. Essentially, we're looking at fish, not marine mammals, essentially.
And the illegal fishing, is that including some anti-humanity actions upon the fishing? For example, they have the line is very dangerous or something like that. Is that included?
No, I think this is simply catching fish when you are not supposed to. So that's very simple. It's not complicated. So if we find your boat fishing in that area, you have no license, that is illegal. That's the kind of, so it's a very simple measure. Yes.
Just one thing on your distributions there. You said that that's apprehensions.
Yeah.
Do you have some way of correcting for level of monitoring or likelihood of detection?
Yeah. You know, in the model we do have, but this is just pure data. And that is why my answer to the New Zealander was partly so, right? If you don't catch because there's no monitoring, I'm not saying there isn't in New Zealand, it's likely there. But yeah, so this is just pure data.
I think you should calibrate this with, how often they control. For example, in many places, maybe they don't control,
so they are not catching. Right? Is that what they're saying? So this picture is a very optimistic picture, most likely, of what is actually happening. That's what your questions are saying. It's likely much more than this, really. Yeah. So, and when we put this thing out, you just bring the word, actually. I go to meetings and I have this thing. So before I get the chance to come, those talking about me will show it a number of times, you know, that kind of thing. So it helped to help the debate of IU fishing when we published the paper. Yeah, so this is now back to, in the paper we talked about why the IU incidents, potential catch, usually when you're going up, if you're using the model of criminality, these are the kind of variables you look at. I'm making a decision now. I'm going to go illegal or not. The first question is, what is the potential that when I go up, I will catch fish, right? That there is fish there, right? Because that's important. If the ocean is empty, you are not going to do it, right? So that's the potential catch. If it is high, the more attractive it is. And what kind of fish? Is it high-priced fish or cheap fish? That is also important. Detection likely, right? Is there a monitoring system? Authorities really watching. If they are not, then the chances are you will do everything being equal because you know you are not likely to be caught, right? So that is that. And low levels of fine. Not only that you are caught, but whether when you are caught, anything will happen. And that's not trivial. Sometimes you arrest a fisher, and this happened in South Africa. They arrest the illegal fisher, they take him to court. Usually it's a him, they take him to court. And the judge will say, what has the man done? He just went fishing, go home, right? So that's what you get. It was so frustrating, South Africa created a special court for environmental crimes for a period, just to get that put in the head of the judges that this is a serious issue. So these variables are important in the decision to do it or not to do it. Now, next point. Sustainability science is grounded in the belief that for the knowledge of nature, society, interaction to be truly useful, they have to be co-produced through close collaboration with each scholars and practitioners. So again, basic science, you can be in your lab, in your little corner, you do what you like. But in our kind of science, you really have to talk with the practitioners. Because otherwise, you waste your time a lot, right? You need to understand what the problems are, work together. So that's an important part as well. Okay, can you think of any other ways? We started with you here. I've given you a few points, and we end up with you. Anything you want to add? Delete, actually. Yeah? Quota. So you see, at the level of operating here, if you notice, it's mainly on the research side of this. How do you do research that would happen? But what you are mentioning is more on the practical implementation of how to make fisheries sustainable. You certainly need to have a quota, right? And you need to determine what is safe ecologically to take out year in, year out, so that your activity is renewable. So yes, depending on the time, when we talk about instruments for fisheries management, quota will be featured, depending on how much time we have, or Friday.
Perhaps exploiting new fisheries. There is a good example in George's Bank. They ran out of cod. And they started, you can explain it better than me.
Yeah, so exploiting new fisheries. This is, there is a lot of this is an interesting issue, and people have taken me on this before. What he's alluding to is, cod was there was a lot of cod of Newfoundland in Canada. And this cod has been depleted to the extent that in 1992 there was a moratorium. No fishing ban. And up to today they haven't come anywhere close to where they are. Like, it's really. But as you heard from Beth's lecture and many of the other lectures I'm sure up to now, the ecosystem is, fish is no island. It's a web of things happening. So you take away a predator like cod, and you are likely to create space for other things. Right? So in the case of this cod, what happened, you have lots of invertebrates coming into the ecosystem more than before. So they have lobsters to catch and all those things that are actually very pricey also. So I talk about cod, and this was in Amsterdam years ago, and a young scholar told me, why you want it? They are making more money now than they were making when there was cod, right? And I just told him, guy, do you want me to get you a ticket? I'll send you to Newfoundland. Go tell them that they are lucky they are called God Hamid. And you see whether you come back to home. Yes, so there's a bit more than the dollars, right? And actually, for me, the biggest concern is that even the lobsters are beginning also, right? This is how we do. So serial depletion, you take one, and you go to the next. That probably became famous partly for its fishing power and thing, right? So after the lobsters, what next? Then yeah. So
scallops too.
Scallops, yeah, very, very important. And they're making money, good stuff. And then if you think about the social side also, who is making the money? It's not the cod fishes. It's a new set of fishes, so you have that also coming into play.
Increasing fines and controlling more often.
Yeah, increasing fines in that model, that's a big one, yeah. So that's changing the incentive actually through hitting them hard, right? Yeah. I saw one there.
Consumer behavior, getting to eat different kinds of fish that